Q&A Review, print speaking to the blind, celebrating 40 years of audio newspaper production. Welcome to this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, recorded at the Bishopbriggs Media Centre by our amazing volunteers. You can get in touch with us via Facebook, Twitter or Instagram using @QNReview. That is @CUEANDREVIEW. You can also contact us directly by emailing information@QNreview.com. That is INFORMATION @CUEANDREVIEW.com, or by calling 0141 772 3976. That's 0141 772 3976.
This week's podcast, as published on Wednesday the 30th of October 2024, is read to you by volunteers Corey, Hunter, Ian, Jehan, Nikki and Philip. We hope you enjoy the podcast. Ready for the winter. Report by Kevin McRoberts. With winter just around the corner, Eastern Bartonshire Council is geared up to respond to the challenges that the seasonal weather can bring. Council crews are now on call 24/7 to manage and deal with the weather conditions, and Councillor Paul Ferretti, convener of Place, Neighbourhood and Corporate Assets, is keen to reassure residents that the Council is prepared for the winter ahead. Councillor Ferretti said, "While our winter weather is becoming less predictable, I would like to reassure our residents that our dedicated teams are prepared for every eventuality. Our highly experienced road service teams provide getting services across Eastern Bartonshire to ensure that our roads and pavements are as free from ice and snow as possible. In common with all local authorities, Eastern Bartonshire Council has to prioritise roads to ensure the most efficient use of resources." Councillor Ferretti explained, "Primary routes, which cover over half of Eastern Bartonshire's roads, are our first priority and will be cleared first before we proceed to treating secondary routes. Secondary roads are only salted when resources allow and when there has been consistent adverse weather. Through preventative actions and prioritising your roads in this way, we aim to keep people moving." The Council's winter service policy for 2024-25 guides the approach to severe weather, including heavy snow, rain and icy temperatures. It classifies primary routes as main roads, bus routes and dangerous or steep roads. Roads to emergency services buildings are also prioritised, as well as at least one route into school buildings. Secondary routes include general access routes, cul-de-sacs and quieter industrial roads. The Council also has specialised gritters for pavements based in strategic locations throughout the area. If freezing conditions are forecast, primary footway routes will be gritted in advance as a precaution. In addition, there are more than 450 grit bins placed throughout Eastern Bartonshire, which people are welcome to use. If your nearest grit bin needs replenished, call 0300 123 4510. Alternatively, residents can bring a shovel and a container and access additional grit from Broomhill Depot and Kilsyth Road in Kirkintilloch. Councillor Ferretti continued, "While we always hope for a manageable winter, we are prepared for all weather conditions. We hope that by being prepared and focusing on the areas that need our attention the most, we can all have a safe and enjoyable winter." You can view the Council's winter policy on the Council's website at www.easternbarton.gov.uk/residents/roads-and-pavements. And that report was by Kevin McRoberts, and it was read by me, Ian McKenna. This week in history. October 31st, 1958, Dr. Ax Senning implemented the first internal heart pacemaker in Stockholm. On this day last year, artificial intelligence was almost twice as accurate as a biopsy at judging the aggressiveness of some cancers, according to new research. November the 1st, 1956. Computer Ernie was born as premium bonds first went on sale in Britain. On this day last year, the abbreviation of Artificial Intelligence, AI, was named the Collins Word of the Year 2023. November the 2nd, 1982, Channel 4 began transmitting. On this day last year, an evening dinner menu for first-class passengers on board the tragic Titanic went on sale at auction with expectations it would sell for £60,000. November the 3rd, 1975, the Queen opened the North Sea Pipeline, the first to be built underwater, bringing 400,000 barrels ashore each day at Grangemouth Refinery on the Firth of Forth. On this day last year, David Bearglass, one of the most influential magicians and mentalists of the 20th century, died aged 97.
Council to extend the hours when parking charges apply, as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. Eastern Bartonshire Council is to extend the chargeable hours for drivers using its public car parks. Since the Council introduced fees at its car parks in 2016, usage has grown considerably, up to 600% in some cases. As part of this year's budget process, it was agreed that charging should encompass more hours, and 3 options for this were considered, with officers recommending changing the times from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. to 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. 6 days a week, excluding Sundays. This change is predicted to increase revenue for the Council from £134,000 per year to over £221,000. Councils formally approved the change at a recent meeting, and the next stage in the process will see the change advertised to residents, who will also be given an opportunity to provide their input. Notices will be displayed on street and at council car parks and other properties, and advertising will also be placed in local press. Additional one-off costs relating to car park signage changes and the recalibration of car park meters for the off-street charging car parks will be incurred. These are estimated to be in the region of £6,000 to £8,000. The council-run car parks in Eastern Bartonshire, where charges apply, are Roman Road and Bearsden Hub, Bearsden, Barley Bank and William Patrick Library, Kirkintilloch, Douglas Street, Mugdock Road, Stewart Street North and Woodburn Way, Mulgai, and Kenmure Drive, Bishopbriggs. Platinum Award for Top Kirkintilloch Social Enterprise. An Eastern Bartonshire social enterprise which supports people back into work has achieved a top award. The Lennox Partnership, TLP, based at Kirkintilloch, is the recipient of the Investors in People IIP Platinum Award for the quality of its team in helping to bring about the best possible outcomes for local people who find themselves jobless. Local MSP Rona Mackay has commended TLP on its success, putting forward a motion at the Scottish Parliament. The SNP MSP for Strathkelvin and Bearsden said, "What the Lennox Partnership do is truly life-transforming. I applaud the dedication of its Chief Executive, Blythe Dean, and his team in supporting people into lasting employment. This award is thoroughly deserved and a mark of their success." Blythe Dean, CEO, said, "We are delighted to have achieved the We Invest in People Platinum Award this year in recognition of the way we operate our business and the value we put on our staff, who are our greatest asset. I'd like to thank Rona for putting forward the motion to the Scottish Parliament. It's amazing. We are grateful for Rona's support. Investors in People offer workplace accreditations to organisations that demonstrate a commitment to their people. Only 1% of IIP accredited companies have achieved platinum status. IIP accreditations are recognised around the world as a global benchmark for people management."
Tenants can book for the conference. A report by Kevin McRoberts. Bookings for this year's North Lanarkshire Council Tenants Conference are now open, with the local authority aiming to put tenants at the heart of its housing service. This year's event, with the theme of Working Together, is on Saturday, November 16 at Riverbank Community Hub, Coatbridge. The conference not only looks ahead, but also highlights the key achievements and impact that tenants, working alongside staff, have made across communities over the past year. Key topics being covered include the launch of the new Tenant Participation Strategy for tenants, by tenants, and changes which now see housing and property come together as one service to benefit tenants. The Council will also be providing advice to tenants about the Rent Assistance Fund and Rents Online, together with raising awareness of changes particularly impacting on pensioners, including winter fuel payments and winter heating payment Scotland. The conference starts at 10 a.m. and is packed with housing news, consultations, question and answer sessions, and opportunities for tenants to come together and share their own ideas. There will also be a range of stalls at the popular marketplace, as well as raffles, lunch, and much more. Councillor Michael McPake, housing convener, is opening the conference and looking forward to another well-attended event. He said, "Our tenants' conference is always a fantastic event, and the number of tenants participating grows year on year. There really is something for everyone, and I'd encourage tenants who's never attended before to come along and be part of a fantastic day." One of the event highlights for me is having an opportunity to speak to tenants firsthand and hear how our services make a difference across our local communities. This is an accessible event, and assistance with transport can be provided should this be required. Call the Tenant Participation Team on 07890 438431 or email tenantparticipation@northlan.gov.uk for further information. This report was by Kevin McRoberts and read by me, Nikki.
Headstones Inspected for Safety by Kevin McRoberts. East Dunbartonshire Council is to embark on a 4-year programme of checks on headstones and memorials in cemeteries and churchyards to ensure they are safe places to visit and work. East Dunbartonshire has a combination of 11 cemeteries and churchyards, which contain approximately 18,000 headstones and memorials, some of which are over 100 years old. Although the headstones and memorials are not owned by the Council, it has a duty of care to ensure that they do not pose a health and safety risk to anyone working within or visiting these locations. Each headstone and memorial will be inspected by trained operatives in a sensitive manner to make sure it is not at risk of falling over and injuring someone. The Council has engaged a specialist contractor who will undertake a comprehensive inspection process. Work is due to begin in November at Old Isle Cemetery in Kirkintilloch, before moving to other locations over a planned 4-year programme. Councillor Paul Ferretti, convener of the Council's Place, Neighbourhood and Corporate Assets Committee, said, "The Council maintain these sites, and it's really important they're safe places for people to be when they pay their respects at the graves of their family and friends. This inspection programme is being introduced following a number of accidents that have occurred across the country in recent years, and will identify any headstones or memorials that may need further action to make them safe. The people carrying out the inspections are conscious of what they're doing when they test headstones. These memorials are remembrances of someone's loved ones and family, and they're very sensitive and respectful to that fact. I'd like to reassure people that no memorials or headstones will be removed from the site as part of this inspection programme. The ownership of the headstone or memorial remains the property of the lair holder. Signage will be placed at each entrance to Aldisle Cemetery in advance of and during the works to alert visitors to the inspections. Social media messaging will also be used to highlight the work being undertaken. The cemetery will remain open throughout this process. The outcome of the inspections will determine the next course of action. If the inspection confirms that a headstone is safe, then no action will be required. However, if any issue is noted, then the council will attempt to contact the named lair owner to make them aware of the issue and to ask them to take action to make it safe. If a headstone or memorial is deemed as unsafe, the council may need to take immediate action to make it safe, and will make every effort to contact the lair owner to notify them of the action taken. If you own a memorial headstone and have any questions regarding any aspect of headstone testing, or want to check the council has the correct contact details for you, call the Street Scene Technical Support Team on 0300 123 4510 or email cemeteries@eastonbarton.gov.uk. That article was written by Kevin McRoberts and it was read by Jahan.
Newly registered home care firm rolls out services. A report by Kevin McRoberts. A new Glasgow-based home care business can provide a full range of personal care services after securing its registration with the Care Inspectorate. Sure Care Glasgow is run by sisters-in-law Samira and Sumaira Iqbal and Anne-Marie Gill, who is the registered manager and operates in the city and the surrounding areas, including East Dunbartonshire. The business, which is based in Somerset Place in Glasgow, offers a range of regulated and non-regulated services, including domiciliary care, live-in care, respite and holiday care, and dementia and Alzheimer's care. Other services on offer include home services, light housekeeping, cleaning, shopping, companionship, gardening, and handyman work. Anne-Marie, who has over 30 years of experience in the home care sector, recently joined the company. Originally from Falkirk, she began her career as a care worker. She said, "I started in the care industry when I was 16, after being inspired by my mum, who worked as a social services manager for the council. I love what I do and I'm passionate about developing our brilliant and growing team of home care workers and really making a difference to the lives of the people we look after at Sure Care. We want to be seen as providing the best possible care in the area." Samira added, "We're delighted to now be registered with the Care Inspectorate and to be able to roll out a full range of home care services. We're also excited to welcome Anne-Marie on board as we grow our care services throughout the city of Glasgow and its surrounding areas, including North and South Lanarkshire, East and West Dunbartonshire, and Renfrewshire and East Renfrewshire. We're looking to help a wide range of people, including older or vulnerable people who need reliable home care services, as well as busy parents needing childcare support." Sure Care is one of the UK's fastest growing care companies, with branches and franchises around the UK. The company is fully regulated and has 3 decades of experience in the personal care sector, with franchises across the UK delivering quality care and support for all stages of life's journey. This was a report by Kevin McRoberts.
Views asked of parents. The Council is seeking the views of all parents and carers regarding early learning childcare and out-of-school care services within Eastern Bartonshire. If you have a child or children attending nursery, the Council would like to hear your views on early learning and childcare services in the area. If you have a child or children attending primary school, it would also appreciate feedback on the out-of-school care provision in Eastern Bartonshire. This consultation is now open and will run until Friday, November the 8th. Over the last 3 years, the Council has implemented the full entitlement of 1,140 hours of funded early learning and childcare for all 3 and 4-year-olds and eligible 2-year-olds. These hours can be accessed in a council nursery with a fund provider in a private, voluntary or independent sector nursery or with a funded registered childminder. It is intended that this increase in nursery hours funded by the Scottish Government ensures that families can access a high-quality early years service which is also flexible and accessible. The information within the survey is not an indication of what the Council intends to provide, but presents parents and carers with a range of options that will be considered as a local authority plans strategically for the future, taking the views expressed into account. The survey can be found on the Council's website at www.easternbarton.gov.uk/early-years-and-out-school-care-consultation. Nominate the best business. Shoppers and service users are being invited to nominate their favourite businesses, but they will need to be quick as the closing date is tomorrow. As part of a new initiative to promote the Eastern Bartonshire gift card, a feature of the Scotland Loves Local campaign being led by Scotland's Towns Partnership. The gift cards are being delivered by Myconex, which is running the UK's favourite local business 2024 competition. People who nominate will be in the running to win an Eastern Bartonshire gift card worth £1,000, while the winning business will receive a £500 gift card. From shops, salons and restaurants to cafes, bars and bakeries, customers are being asked to put forward your favourite for free before the closing date, Thursday, October the 31st. To make a nomination, go to townandcitygiftcards.com/love-local-win.
Scottish Poppy Appeal. Gregor is proud to launch appeal. Report by Kevin McRoberts. Scotland rugby coach Gregor Townsend officially launched the Scottish Poppy Appeal 2024 and said it was a real privilege to be involved. The former Gala RFC player visited Lady Haig's Poppy Factory at the Poppy Scotland site in Edinburgh for a tour of the historic premises and took the opportunity to chat with staff about the importance of the charity. Rugby legend Gregor, whose playing career spanned 2 decades for both club and country and included spells at Brive, Montpellier and Border Reivers to name a few, was highly impressed with Lady Haig's Poppy Factory and the intricate work that goes into making the iconic Scottish poppies, wreaths and other symbols of remembrance. The former Scotland and British Lions star, who won 82 caps for his country, was also impressed to learn that Lady Haig's Poppy Factory only employs disabled ex-service personnel, helping to break down barriers for veterans who otherwise may struggle to find employment. The charity attracts dozens of volunteers of all ages, including those from the cadets and corps, who are all there to contribute to making a difference to the lives of current and former members of the armed forces. Gregor said, "It's a real privilege to be here, seeing veterans working, contributing like they did before. They enjoy what they do, knowing it is for a greater cause. On behalf of Scottish Rugby, we have a strong link with Poppy Scotland and remembrance. We wear poppies on our jerseys and the players really appreciate that link with history, especially playing our games throughout the month of November." The national coach added, "Every year Poppy Scotland supports hundreds of veterans and their families, helping them live fully after the service. Show them you care, wear a poppy. Your donation can change the lives for our armed forces community." Gordon Mitchie, Head of Fundraising and Learning at Poppy Scotland, said, "Wearing your poppy shows serving personnel, veterans and their families that their service and sacrifice means something to you, that it is appreciated and recognised. Importantly, it also shows that such service will never be forgotten. All funds raised will go to support our life-changing work, providing advice and welfare support to the Armed Forces community in Scotland." The Scottish Poppy Appeal is Scotland's biggest fundraising appeal, with more than 3 million poppies already being distributed around the country. The money raised from the appeal has enabled Poppy Scotland to help countless men, women and families with issues linked to their time in the armed forces or with struggles adjusting from military to civilian life. Find out more and support the appeal at www.poppyscotland.org.uk. Charities support. Poppy Scotland provides life-changing support to the Armed Forces community. Money raised from the Scottish Poppy Appeal and Poppy Scotland's year-round fundraising enables them to deliver support to members of the Armed Forces community in Scotland by providing tailored funding and assistance. The charity funds services in advice, employment, housing, mental health, mobility and respite. It has helped countless men and women and families with issues linked to their time in the armed forces or with struggles adjusting from military to civilian life. For more information, visit www.poppyscotland.org.uk. And that was a piece written by Kevin McRoberts.
Bringing Light to Dark Winters by Kevin McRoberts. East Dunbartonshire residents are set to become the first in Scotland to be given the chance to take some extra sunlight home to help them deal with low winter moods. Visitors to 4 local libraries will have the chance to borrow a lamp which replicates the physiological benefits of real sunlight. The lamp is included in a wintering well box, also containing a book, information, activities and access to an online course to help tackle the effects of seasonal affective disorder, SAD. It is the latest development in a research project into the mental and physical effects of long dark winters, called Living with SAD, led by academics from the Universities of Glasgow and Edinburgh. It is supported by East Dunbartonshire Leisure and Culture Trust, or EDLC. The library Wintering Well box will also include a template for writing a letter to winter, a creative exercise encouraging participants to let the season know their feelings about living with low light and low mood. These letters will form the basis of further research from the team. A total of 100 Wintering Well boxes will be available for library users to borrow for 4-week periods. The libraries will also play host to many exhibitions made up of images of everyday experiences of SAD, created by participants in the team's Wintering Well workshops. If the library's project is judged a success this winter, it may well be rolled out to communities across Scotland when the nights get longer next year. Professor Hester Parr is one of the leaders of the Living with SAD project. She said, "According to the Royal College of Psychiatry, more than 1 million people across Britain experience symptoms of SAD, including emotional challenges, lowered mood, and feelings of anxiety. However, they often have very limited access to social or medical support to help them through winter. Our Wintering Well resources are aimed at helping people find novel ways to deal with these feelings through creative projects and finding connection and support with others who struggle with low mood. We're delighted to be partnering with EDLC to make our resources more widely available and to provide access to SAD lamps. We'll be collecting feedback from participants in this new phase of the study to help us guide the next stage of Living with SAD, which could involve bringing Wintering Well boxes to communities across Scotland." Professor Hayden Lorimer, co-investigator of Living with SAD, added, "Local libraries are perfect places for people to access our borrowable Wintering Well boxes. They are also warm and welcoming public spaces for meeting up and socialising during the winter months. We're planning to organise short walks nearby to library buildings when borrowers will be able to share their experiences with one another. The project follows on from previous efforts by EDLC to provide library goers with access to SAD lamps. Visitors were able to sit with static SAD lamps on library premises, but the new project will allow people to take lamps home with them for the first time. Councillor Jim Gibbons, Chair of East Dunbartonshire Leisure and Culture Trust, said, "We received very positive feedback from our library members who used the static SAD lamps in our libraries during the trial period. Those who are prone to symptoms of SAD during the long winter months found their mental health and well-being much improved as a result. So, we are delighted to be partnering with the Universities of Glasgow and Edinburgh to provide our library users with the opportunity to benefit from an SAD lamp in the comfort of their own homes. I would encourage local people who suffer from SAD to come along to their local library and inquire about the SAD lamps and the wintering well boxes. The resources provide lots of ideas on how to reduce anxiety and regulate mood during the darker months." Claire Charlwood was one of the participants in a trial of the project, which took place earlier this month. She said, "I found the winter months very challenging to deal with in previous years. Darkness when you leave the house in the morning and darkness when you get home can really start to wear on your mental health. I was really impressed by the Wintering Well box. The resources made me think about winter in a different way, like using a mini sky frame to help me notice the sky isn't just dull, wet and grey. I also think the SAD lamp tops up my levels of sunlight and that helps. In a way, I think the lamp, the book and online course resources give you everything you need to deal with SAD, both in body and mind. It's a totally new way to approach this problem." The Wintering Well boxes are available at the William Patrick Library in Kirkintilloch and the libraries in Bishopbriggs, Lennoxtown and Milngavie. East Dunbartonshire Leisure and Culture Trust can also transfer boxes to other local libraries on request. For more information on Wintering Well, visit www.gla.ac/research/living-with-SAD/Wintering-Well/resources. That article was written by Kevin McRoberts.
Dedicated team to be deployed on bonfire night. A report by Kevin McRoberts. Specially trained public order officers will again be deployed during bonfire night to protect local policing teams from attack. As part of Police Scotland's Operation Moonbeam, existing resources across Scotland can be supplemented with public order officers whenever they respond to fireworks offences taking place. Since Operation Moonbeam was first launched in 2018, the number of criminal incidents involving fireworks has decreased. However, last year, officers responding to reports of disorder and antisocial behaviour in certain parts of the country were subjected to unprecedented levels of aggression and violence. In total, 62 officers sustained a range of injuries after being struck by or in proximity of a firework that was thrown towards them. This year's Operation Moonbeam was launched by Police Scotland alongside Crime Stoppers, the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, who both launched their own initiatives aimed at deterring the criminal and reckless use of fireworks. Assistant Chief Constable Tim Mayers, Gold Commander for Operation Moonbeam, said, "What we saw last year was an unacceptable level of hostility and violence, which was primarily directed at police officers and, for the most, was instigated by adults linked to organised crime, who provided young people with fireworks and other weapons and encouraged them to attack officers. This horrific behaviour jeopardised the safety and well-being of those who were trying to keep communities safe. Significant investigation was undertaken in the weeks and months that followed, and numerous people were charged in connection with those incidents. Those responsible for endangering the lives of police officers, other emergency service workers, or the public will be identified, and they will be brought to justice. In the event you avoid being caught in the night, you can expect a visit from us once we have conducted our inquiries. I ask the public to work alongside us in helping make Bonfire Night a safe and enjoyable occasion, and to report any criminality you witness or any suspicions that you may have that others are seeking to do harm within our communities. That report was by Kevin McRoberts. Dedicated team to be deployed on Bonfire Night. A report by Kevin McRoberts. Specially trained public order officers will again be deployed during Bonfire Night to protect local policing teams from attack. As part of Police Scotland's Operation Moonbeam, existing resources across Scotland can be supplemented with public order officers whenever they respond to fireworks offences taking place. Since Operation Moonbeam was first launched in 2018, the number of criminal incidents involving fireworks has decreased. However, last year, officers responding to reports of disorder and antisocial behaviour in certain parts of the country were subjected to unprecedented levels of aggression and violence. In total, 62 officers sustained a range of injuries after being struck by or in proximity of a firework that was thrown towards them. This year's Operation Moonbeam was launched by Police Scotland alongside Crime Stoppers, the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, who both launched their own initiatives aimed at deterring the criminal and reckless use of fireworks. Assistant Chief Constable Tim Mayers, Gold Commander for Operation Moonbeam, said, "What we saw last year was an unacceptable level of hostility and violence, which was primarily directed at police officers and, for the most, was instigated by adults linked to organised crime, who provided young people with fireworks and other weapons and encouraged them to attack officers. This horrific behaviour jeopardised the safety and well-being of those who were trying to keep communities safe. Significant investigation was undertaken in the weeks and months that followed, and numerous people were charged in connection with those incidents. Those responsible for endangering the lives of police officers, other emergency service workers, or the public will be identified, and they will be brought to justice. In the event you avoid being caught in the night, you can expect a visit from us once we have conducted our inquiries. I ask the public to work alongside us in helping make Bonfire Night a safe and enjoyable occasion, and to report any criminality you witness or any suspicions that you may have that others are seeking to do harm within our communities. That report was by Kevin McRoberts.
Fearless campaign. Fearless, the youth service of Crime Stoppers, has launched a new campaign to keep teenagers safe and encourage them to make positive choices this autumn. Focusing on Bonfire Night, the charity is encouraging young people to remember that communities work best when they work together and that they have an important role to play in that. The initiative, running on social media platforms, aims to get young people thinking about not just about the impact fireworks misuse and deliberate fire raising has on the communities they live in, but how they can take positive action. This may include attending the local youth centres to do activities, volunteering, or donating food or clothes they've outgrown to help others in their area. More information is available on the website fearless.org.
Opinion: the Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald's letters page. Let's talk. Wednesday the 30th of October. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKYHERALD @JNScotland.co.uk and write letters in the subject field. Please keep letters to a maximum of 300 words. Letters cannot be published without a name and postal address. Also include a daytime phone number if possible. We reserve the right to edit any letter. Defining issues. Sir, I cannot understand why Labour MPs and government ministers have so much difficulty explaining the definition of words. First it was a woman, and now it is working people. Never mind about free tickets and clothes, can someone donate them some free dictionaries? Yours, etc., Paul Lewis, by email. Pie in the Sky. Sir, October 19, 2023 was meant to be written into every Scots diary. Nicola Sturgeon proclaimed it would be IndyRef 2, no ifs, no buts. Then she had to resign. 1 year on and the independence movement stands on the edge of an abyss. Nicola Sturgeon no longer commands the respect she once did, and, with the loss of Alex Salmond, any revival of the cause has been all but extinguished. The proud boast of the nationalists at Westminster was a government Scots did not vote for, is in tatters, and even the once large crowds waving saltires have become an endangered species. Reality must be faced. Independence was a non-starter in 2014, and it is even more relevant now. Scotland faces big problems in coping with everyday living. Pie in the sky policies have no place here anymore. Yours, etc., Gerald Edwards. Address supplied. Government that cares. Sir, the SNP Scottish Government Social Justice Secretary has announced a new benefit, pension age and disability payment, which has been developed by the Scottish Government by listening to older disabled pensioners. This benefit can be claimed for now in the 5 pilot areas in Scotland, and then by all eligible applicants across Scotland, and it's not means tested. What a difference it is to have a truly caring government so different from that of the Westminster one, and their branch office parties here in Scotland, who are shamefully supporting and voting with their Westminster bosses to make pensioners poorer. Labour has attacked pensioners, and won't budge on the 2-child cap, etc., carrying on with the Tory party's policy of making the poor poorer and the rich richer. Scotland would do much better if we were independent. Yours, etc., Miss Anne Smart, by email. The Great Waste. Sir, we are at that time of year again, the Great Waste. First comes the tat of Halloween, then the disturbance of fireworks. Why people should find horror amusing beats me, and that parents should spend hard-earned cash on ghoulish rubbish is equally baffling. I suspect that the modern parent just doesn't know how to say no. It's the same on November the 5th. All over the country the night sky will be polluted with noxious chemicals, while wild animals and domestic dogs will run and shake in terror. The sky vandals don't worry about the environment, however. No worries about the cost of living. It's just another confidence trick where the bottom line is the pursuit of profit. Yours, etc., William Lunsky, by email. Look homeward. Sir, once again the people of Scotland are landed with a problem not of their making. The SNP run Scotland at present, and their remit specifically does not include overseas aid. Nevertheless, they have decided it would anyway donate £12.5 million to African education. They must have plenty to spare in the taxpayer's kitty to afford this after funding all the responsibilities. In fact, good cause as that African school projects may be, with education in Scotland in the perilous state it is in, and teachers perhaps being laid off in their hundreds, it is an unfathomable, absurd decision. The ridiculous aspect was emphasised shortly after when, without reference, they sent £250,000 to another Middle East appeal charity. They do not seem to care. A portion of our UK taxes already covers these good causes overseas. Is it necessary to squeeze Scotland's education system even further than it has been in order to make a few nationalist points? Yours, etc., Alexander Mackay, by email. Wrong-footed. Sir, Murray Foot has resigned as SNP Chief Executive, and, with his exit, it looks as if the party is literally over. It was either sink or swinny, but you can only fool some of the people for some of the time. The SNP ship, there is no ferry, has long since lost its compass and hit the rocks. It's time for every man for himself time. The voters ought to get the say too. Yours, etc., Gerald Edwards, by email. And that was this week's Let's Talk.
Don't forget your digital legacy in Making a Will, by Kevin McRoberts. A concerning number of adults in Scotland risk grieving loved ones without access to cherished memories and vital information by neglecting to plan for their digital legacy, a new survey by Will Aid shows. The National Will Rating Campaign has revealed 44% of respondents in Scotland overlooked the critical need to include digital assets in estate planning, meaning friends and family may face significant challenges in the event of their death, including the loss of treasured photographs and difficulties in managing financial affairs. As the world becomes increasingly digital, our online lives leave behind an important but often overlooked legacy. The rise of digital banking, cloud storage, and the prevalence of social media means that a person's online presence and assets can be just as valuable, if not more so, than their physical belongings. Yet, many individuals fail to consider this when preparing their will, so sorting out the deceased's estate becomes a more complicated task than it needs to be, adding stress to an already difficult time. Solicitor Michael Cressy said, "In an age where so much of our lives are online, ensuring loved ones have access to your digital accounts after you die is crucial. Many people do not realise how much valuable information is stored in their email and online profiles, from financial records to cherished photographs. Failing to leave clear instructions and passwords can cause significant emotional and logistical hardship for those left behind. Leaving instructions for digital assets in a safe way not only ensures access to important assets, but can also help loved ones manage practical matters, such as closing accounts, settling bills, and even notifying institutions of the death. There are ways that you can update your online accounts with Apple iPhone by using the Legacy function in your phone settings, which will help you plan for the future. The annual Will Aid campaign sees solicitors across the UK volunteering their time to write wills throughout November, making it an ideal opportunity for people to get their wishes professionally drafted in a legal document, which will help to protect their loved ones in the future. Peter Davina Franks, Will Aid campaign director, said, "By planning ahead, individuals can help ensure their online legacy is managed according to their wishes and spare their loved ones from additional stress." Will Aid is a partnership between the legal profession and 7 UK charities. The initiative, which has been running for more than 30 years, sees participating solicitors waive their fee for writing basic wills every November. Instead, they invite clients to make an upfront donation to Will Aid, a suggested £100 for a single basic will and £180 for a pair of basic mirror wills. Appointments are available now, and you can sign up by visiting www.willaid.org.uk. For more information on Will Aid and how to get involved, visit the website www.willaid.org.uk. That article was was written by Kevin McRoberts.
Growing up in Scotland was better in the past. Nearly 2 out of 3 adults believe childhood is worse than it was in the past, according to new research by Children First. Children First has declared a childhood emergency in Scotland, with new research revealing most adults believe growing up in the country is worse than ever before. Scotland's National Children's Charity says the findings are a horrifying wake-up call, with urgent action needed to address neglect, abuse, poverty and a mental health crisis caused by online harm. Mary Glasgow, Children First Chief Executive, said, "We are declaring a childhood emergency in Scotland. The fact that almost 2/3 of people we surveyed believe growing up in our country is worse than ever should act as a horrifying wake-up call to everyone. We must put children first." Adults across Scotland are seriously concerned about the horrendous impact that smartphones, social media and harmful online content is having on the mental health of children. Sadly, childhood is getting shorter in the fast-paced and dangerous world we now live in. Our teams across Scotland support children who are distressed and at risk of serious harm and help them recover from unthinkable trauma and abuse. More than 1/3 of sexual crimes recorded by Police Scotland are against children, and 1 in 4 children still live in poverty. As a society, we are failing children. The study concludes with the charity launching a refreshed brand which highlights the plight of Scotland's children today and emphasises that Children First is here to protect all Scotland's children from harm. Mary added, "Our work is more vital than ever. All children should have hopes, dreams, prospects and opportunities. But, for many, they simply don't exist. That's why we will do whatever it takes to help children and give them a hope for a brighter future." Young people shared their concerns with the charity at a recent workshop. The group revealed worries about cyberbullying, the dark side of social media, the sharing of photos and videos without permission, the use of artificial intelligence, unwanted contact from strangers, and being served dangerous and explicit content. One young person, Chloe, commented, "It can be really traumatising with what's going on online. Teenagers can overthink a lot, have a lot of insecurities, and can be really anxious." Another young person, Jack, shared, "Cyberbullying is horrid. It's massive." And Laura said of being online, "Can be scary because you don't always know who people are." Children First help children, their families and the people that care for them by offering emotional, practical and financial support. Anyone worried about a child in Scotland can contact the Children First support line by calling 08000 28 2233. That's 08000 28 22 33 for free, or visiting www.childrenfirst.org.uk. The author of that article was unattributed, but it was read by me, Ian McKenna.
Gaza's children need urgent aid. A report by Kevin McRoberts. A Scottish aid worker has shared harrowing details from the streets of Gaza, describing the unimaginable impact on children, but also the hope that endures in the face of extreme adversity as aid donations reach those in greatest need. Christian Aid is one of the members who will be getting extra funding for its work in the region through the DEC's Scottish Appeal. Programme Manager Katie Roxburgh has been supporting the efforts of local humanitarian partners in Gaza for more than a year. She has been speaking about the massive impact of the humanitarian crisis, especially on children, who continue to suffer disproportionately from the ongoing conflict. Katie said, "It's utterly devastating. People have lost everything and have nothing to live with. There are corpses on the street that children are seeing, mass destruction of infrastructure, and people are living in cramped conditions with very little help." She also emphasised how desperate families now are, surviving on the most basic food items. Hygiene is a severe issue too, with limited access to showers and basic sanitation increasing the risk of disease. Despite this grim reality, there is still hope among the people of Gaza and the aid workers who've been saving lives against the odds. These people have been through the worst possible year that you can imagine, and yet are still going. Hope is the kind of way that our partners and the people that they work with get through, imagining a better future. And that's how they get through this awful situation. One of the most devastating aspects of the crisis is the effect on Gaza's children. Children are suffering massively, she explained. There's the psychological trauma of witnessing death and destruction, but there's also the sheer disruption of their daily lives. Many schools have been destroyed or are being used to house thousands of displaced people, and the constant threat of bombardment looms over everything. Nevertheless, through partnership with local organisations, DEC agencies are creating safe spaces for children. Any space where children can go and just be a kid again is hugely important. There are reading sessions, clowns entertaining the kids, and even teachers volunteering to provide basic education. It's remarkable to see the resilience in these young children. Despite everything, they still play football, sing songs, and find moments of joy. The scale of the devastation is staggering, with thousands of children orphaned and countless families displaced multiple times. Organisations are working with unaccompanied children, providing shelter, food, and emotional support. There's a huge number of children who are now orphaned or separated from their families, more than 17,000. The need is immense. People in Gaza need our help. They are in need of everything: food, water, shelter, medicine, hygiene items like soap and shampoo. Donations can help massively in reaching more people in Gaza with life-saving materials. Donations can be made at www.dec.org.uk or by calling 0330 123 0333 or text HOPE, all in capitals, to 70676 to donate £10. And that report was by Kevin McRoberts.
Good day to you. It's Philip here from Q and Review, and I'm reading the church news from the Kirkintilloch Herald. I hope this recording finds you well and in good spirits. We're going first of all to Milton-a-Campsie. At their monthly visit to care homes, they sing hymns and choruses, pray and read scripture. See you again, it says, on November the 17th, when they'll be back at homes like Lilyburn Care Home. Our Avarice appeal for Christian Aid was followed by a quick succession by Emergency Deck Middle East appeal. Both appeals were well supported and over £1,000 has been given, and the Minister says thank you. And the Minister, Julie, has just completed her study leave. Toddler Group also is on again on Mondays at 9:45. Hobbies Club is at 2 p.m. and badminton at 7:30 p.m. Time to pray on Wednesday is at 7 p.m. Kurt Session is at 8 p.m. and tickets are now on sale for the Guild concert on Wednesday, November the 6th at 7:30 with Kilsyth Harmony. And and also just want to continue as well to say that the BB and junior sections will meet at 6:15 on Fridays. The deadline for Operation Christmas Child boxes is November the 10th. Our messenger magazine is now being put together and will be ready to put through letterboxes in the first Sunday in Advent. And moving to Kirkintilloch, St Mary's Parish Church, the service on Sunday, November the 3rd, will begin at 11 a.m. as usual and be taken by the Reverend Dr. Ruth Morrison. Communion will also be served at this service. There will be an age-appropriate activities for our young people during the service in the church halls. Wednesday welcome will continue on Wednesday, October the 30th from 10 a.m. until 11:30. Tea, coffee and home baking will be available during this time. A short service taken by the Reverend Ruth Morrison will begin at 11:30 a.m. On Wednesday, November the 6th, the church will be open for visitors from 10:30 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Tea, coffee will be available during this time. An organ recital given by the organist, David Burns, will be given during the lunch time, beginning at 12:30 p.m. All are welcome to this recital and are welcome to bring their lunch with them. Yeah, you can sit and have your lunch in the church and listen to that organ recital. On Saturday, November the 9th, the Young Church will be holding their annual craft day. There will be a variety of stalls selling many different craft items, just right for Christmas presents. There will be a cafe running there as well from 10 till 3 p.m. Tea, coffee and home baking will be available from 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. And then soup, rolls and baking will also be served until 2 p.m. Now that's good to get along to. And this is a new item here. Abbey Cafe, it's called, is a peer support group for people living in Eastern Bartonshire affected by acquired brain injury. And their carers, family and friends. It is only the brain injury support group of its kind in the area. Although CERTA staff and volunteers support Abbey Cafe, it is a peer-led group that really thrives on the input of its members and lived experiences they share. The group meets the first Wednesday of the month in CERTA's office, which is in McGregor House, there at the back of Kirkintilloch in the retail park area, 1:30 till 3 p.m. Please contact CERTAS if you wish or would like to know more. Their number is 0141 775 0433 or email info@certis.org.uk. Wow. And then we have St Columba's Men's Club. If the winter comes, can spring be far behind? So asked John Keats in his Ode to Autumn. Well, winter certainly is well on its way after a truly miserable summer. Well, I don't think I agree with miserable summer. It was okay. Could have been worse. However, to ease the way towards the joy, maybe, of spring, as envisaged by Keats, the Men's Club may be an answer. At 7:30 p.m. every Monday, St Columba's Men's Club meet in the church hall in Old Isle Road, Kirkintilloch, and offers a very warm welcome together with the chance to play a bit of pool, snooker, dominoes, or even some table tennis for the more sprightly amongst us. And if none of these appeal, how about just a cup of tea and coffee and a chat? Our members come not only from Kirkintilloch but also from Lindsay, Cumbernauld, Milton Capsey and Bearsden. And if you think this may be for you and you would like to know more details, contact Ian Gibb on 0141 776 5453. And now to Springfield Cambridge Church there in Old Bishopbriggs. And wow, they've got a huge announcement here on Monday. Sorry, I'm getting dyslexic in my old age. On morning worship on Sunday, November the 3rd, will be conducted by the Reverend Ian Taylor in the sanctuary at 11 a.m. This service will include the annual dedication for Boys and Girls Brigades. An offering will be taken during the service. Please place your offering in the offering plates as they are passed around the congregation. Tea and coffee will be served in the Cameron Hall after morning worship. Come and enjoy the fellowship. The Sunday school meets in room 2 where crest facilities are also available. Morning worship is also being live streamed on the Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the website www.springfieldcambridge.org.uk and on the Facebook page where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. And there will be a vestry hour on Wednesday, October the 30th at 10 a.m. for anyone who would like to speak with the minister. There will be a short weekly service of worship in the Springfield Chapel on Wednesday, October the 30th from 11:10 to 11:30, followed by tea, coffee in the Hall of Fellowship. Tickets for the line dancing event on Saturday, November the 16th at 7:30pm will be on sale from Sunday onwards, priced at £10 in the Hall of Fellowship. Lodging House Mission Christmas cards will be available every Sunday in the Hall of Fellowship. We will also be happy to accept monetary donations which help to offset the cost of the meals which Lodging House Mission provides on a daily basis to homeless people there in the city centre of Glasgow. The Guild is inviting the congregation to join them in supporting the Eastern Bartonshire Food Bank warehouse by bringing donations and leaving them in the cupboard in the cloakroom. A list is attached to the cupboard door identifying specific items which are specially required. And the ticket office for Springfield Cambridge Festival Chorus Christmas Concert is open at Cadder South Hall on Wednesdays and on Fridays between 10 and 12 noon. Staying in Bishopbriggs, we're going to St James Church, which is in Hilton Road, Bishopbriggs, and the minister there is Paul Watson. There is a communion service on Thursday, October the 31st at 11am, and on Sunday, November the 3rd at 9am in the chapel, at 10:30am in the church with hymns. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay on for tea, coffee and fellowship afterwards. On Sunday, November the 3rd from 3pm to 4pm, there is a session of crafty kids in the hall. All families are very welcome to come along and enjoy activities together. And the date for your diary is on Tuesday, November the 12th at 1pm till 3pm. There is a Tuesday club lunch with a talk by Jane Munro on their recent trip to Vietnam. Do feel to come along, £3 donations at the door. There will also be other virtual services and groups. For up-to-date information, of course, yes, refer to the social media. Facebook, which is St James the Less Bishopbriggs. And the website, yes, you guessed it, www.stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. And now to Lenzie. In Lenzie Old Parish Church, Sunday worship begins in the church at 11am. A creche is available for children under 3. The Quilt and Craft Group meet every Wednesday, 10am till 12 noon in the session room. Keen on sewing, knitting, crocheting, or just a beginner, all are welcome. And the Scottish country dancing every Thursday evening at 7:30 till 9:30pm. Enjoy fun and fitness. No need to book, just come along. And St Andrew's Day coffee afternoon, Saturday, November the 30th, 2 till 4pm in the church hall. Tickets, £3, include tea, coffee and home baking. And now back to Bishopbriggs again, Kenmure Parish Church, the first Sunday in the month again. That means it's the first Sunday club. And we will meet at the start of our morning worship at 11am. It will be led by the Reverend Susan Anderson. Visitors to the area will be made welcome when they join us for our Sunday morning worship. You can also attend either in person or online. Our YouTube channel, the service is on YouTube, can be watched live as it is streamed or later at a time that suits you. You can find our channel by simply searching Kenmure Bishopbriggs on YouTube. There will be a period of fellowship following the service in the hall when teas, coffees, juice and biscuits are served. The most up-to-date details of all their groups are currently running may also be found under WhatsApp section of their website, kenmure-church.co.uk. To find us on Facebook, just search for Kenmure Parish Church. And if you'd like to join their WhatsApp group, then contact the church or email them kenmurechurch@icloud.com. And back to Lenzie again. Lenzie Union Parish Church, Sunday worship on November the 3rd at 11am includes a guild dedication. The service will be led by the Reverend Kleber Machado. The meeting place opens for tea, coffee and home baking every Wednesday, 10 till noon in the new hall. Everyone from the very young to the young at heart is welcome to attend. Also, they have a good selection of greetings cards and second-hand books for sale. The Lenzie Bridge Club is on Wednesdays in the old hall, 1 till 3pm. Come play this classic game. Stay curious. Try Alpha. Explore the Christian faith together. Each session explores a big question of life, faith and purpose. Starting October, Wednesday afternoons from 1:30pm in the new hall. And all are welcome, which includes a video presentation, light refreshments and discussion. Contact Claire Robertson, alpha.lenzie@gmail.com. Or if you want to speak to her and find out more, then 07789425547 for more details. The coffee pot, again, opens for Fridays are not open for Fridays, but on Fridays for tea, coffee, home baking, a warm, friendly atmosphere for all ages. Messy Church is on Saturday, November the 9th, 4 till 5 p.m, a fun-filled hour for the whole family. And back to Bishopbriggs. No, it's not. It's Kirkintilloch. I'm getting bleary-eyed here. St David's Memorial Park Parish Church, they have their usual service and will take place at 10:30 on Sunday, November the 3rd. This is a communion service to which everyone is welcome. On Tuesday, November the 5th, there will be a short communion service in the small hall starting at 12 noon. There will be a chance to meet up after both these services for tea, coffee and a chat. On Thursday evenings, the Rainbows, Brownies and Guides will all meet as usual in the church hall. And now, staying in Kirkintilloch, it says Home Church, which is in Lammermuir Road, Kirkintilloch. And you also have a sister church, which is in the East End of Glasgow in Carlisle. And also the church services are online. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. And that's a quotation from Jeremiah 29. Sunday, November the 3rd, 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. worship service with communion, followed by refreshments. A warm welcome awaits you at either service, which will be identical. Both the services are the same, just different congregation, but the same people who lead it. Sunday school and creche available at both services. There's a baptism at 6:30 p.m. in Home Church Carlisle. Worship service at 10 and 6:30 p.m. in Carlisle. Home radio is also available every day, and if you tune in to a Monday night between 8 and 9, you'll hear my dulcet tones as I chat about mission and what God is doing across the world. And then on Tuesdays, the engine room, which is at 9:30 a.m. For biblical teaching. Tuesdays, 2:30 till 4, Bible study on Judges, which is on Zoom. And then on Wednesday, the boiler room for prayer and Bible study, except last Wednesday, which is a prayer meeting. Thursday, there's football. Friday, craft and coffee, 10 till noon. And then Friday, the youth fellowship meet at 7:30 p.m. See Facebook, Instagram and Home Church website for the latest information for Carlisle and Kirkintilloch. And another wee addendum here, a bite and a blether from Hillhead Parish Church, a peer group offering a relaxed and informal setting where people can come together over lunch to socialise, access support, that is, in October the 31st from 1 till 2:30 p.m. Yes, in Hillhead Parish Church. And this is run by the Seartist organisation. And for more information, visit the website www.seartist.org.uk. And that's your church news for this week. And hopefully you manage along to one or more of these church services or events. Again, my name's Philip, and it's been a pleasure to read this week's church news from the Kirkintilloch Herald. Have a good week. God bless you, and take care.
Wednesday the 30th of October. District News, General. 2 cats require a new home. Tian and Jasmine are a bonded pair of older cats seeking their forever home. They are currently being cared for by the Scottish SPCA Edinburgh and Lothians Animal Rescue and Rehoming Centre. Jasmine is tabby and white and is more timid than her friend. Any new owners will need to work on her confidence by allowing her time to come out of her shell in a patient environment. Tia is a long-haired black and white and is happier to greet people and come out to explore the world. As Jasmine can be quite shy, the Society is looking for an adult-only home for these girls without other animals where they can have outdoor access should they show interest in going out. Please apply at www.scottishspca.org. A bite and a blether. A peer support group offering a relaxed and informal setting where people come together over lunch to socialise and access support. October 31st from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Hillhead Parish Church. For more information, visit www.seartist.org.uk. That's www.seartas.org.uk. What's on? BBC Radio aimed to swim 1,000 miles. Article written by Michelle McManus. BBC Radio Scotland's presenters are gearing up to make a splash in the 1,000-mile swim challenge for BBC Children in Need 2024. They're swapping their studios for swimming pools as they take on the 1,000-mile challenge for BBC Children in Need 2024. Radio stations across England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland are uniting in this mammoth effort, attempting to swim a combined total of 1,000 miles in just 5 days. That's the equivalent of 64,000 length of a 25-metre pool. Ready to take the plunge for BBC Radio Scotland are presenters Michelle McManus, Zara Janja, Gary Innes, Jane Lewis and David Curry. The team will take on the challenge at Allender Leisure Centre in Bearsden. Kicking off at 8 AM on Monday, November the 4th, the challenge will run through to Friday, November the 8th, with each presenter swimming 1 mile per day to contribute to the team's total. Scottish swimming champion Ross Murdoch, who represented Team GB at the 2016 Summer Olympics, will be poolside to cheer the team on and offer some expert advice. Plus, Scot Squad's Chief Commissioner Cameron Mickelson will be on hand to fend off any BAMs. Listeners can follow the team's progress by tuning in to BBC Radio Scotland each day or by streaming on BBC Sounds. Additionally, the latest updates and behind-the-scenes content will be on the station's social media channels. To wrap up this exciting week, audiences can join Jackie Bird, who will be presenting a special Children in Need programme on BBC Scotland on the evening of Friday, November the 15th at 10 PM. This programme will showcase the BBC Radio Scotland's presenters' week-long challenge and feature moving stories from children and young people across Scotland who have benefited from the funds raised through BBC Children in Need. To support BBC Children in Need and the BBC Radio Scotland swim team, visit www.bbcchildreninneed.co.uk/shows/swim. To learn more about donations, right now BBC Children in Need can only fund 1 in 8 organisations that approach them for help. Together, we can change that. With your donation, we can help make life lighter for children all across the UK. By Michelle McManus. ABI Cafe. ABI, or ABI Cafe, is a peer support group for people living in Eastern Bartonshire affected by acquired brain injury, ABI, and their carers, family and friends. It is the only brain injury support group of its kind in the area. Although Certis staff and volunteers support ABI Cafe, it is a peer-led group that really thrives on the input of its members and the lived experiences they share. The group meets the first Wednesday of the month in Certis office, McGregor House, from 1:30 PM to 3 PM. Please contact Certis if you would like to know more. 0141 775 0433 or email info@ceartas.org.uk. Walk and Roll. Walk and Roll is a monthly walking group for everyone, including wheelchair users and people with mobility issues. It follows a number of routes, all of which have been risk assessed for wheelchair users, mobility aid users, and people with sensory impairments and mobility issues. Upon return, there is a cup of tea or coffee waiting and a chance for a blether. During the winter months, the walk is adapted to indoor strength and balance exercises so that we can continue to socialise and stay active. We meet at Certis office, McGregor House, on the third Wednesday of every month at 1 PM to 2:30 PM. It is a great opportunity to get outdoors and meet new people from the area. Please contact Certis if you would like to know more. 0141 775 0433 info@certas.org.uk. St Columba's Men's Club. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? So asked John Keats in his Ode to Autumn. Well, winter certainly is well on the way after a truly miserable summer. However, to ease the way towards the joys, maybe, of spring, as envisaged by Keats, the Men's Club may be an answer. 7:30pm every Monday, St Columba's Men's Club meets in the Church Hall in Old Isle Road, Kirkintilloch, and offers a very warm welcome together with the chance to play a bit of pool or snooker, dominoes, or even some table tennis for the more sprightly among us. If none of these appeal, how about a cup of coffee or tea and a chat? Our members come not only from the Kirkintilloch, but also from Lenzie, Cumbernauld, Milton of Campsie and Bearsden. If you think this may be for you and you would like more details, contact either Ian Gibb on 0141 776 5453 or Jim Kennedy on 07767 124 416. Lennoxtown Christmas Wreath Workshop, Saturday, November the 30th, Campsie Memorial Hall, Lennoxtown. Come along, make your own festive masterpiece to take home with you and be the talk of the steamy. Late morning workshop, 11am to 1pm. Afternoon workshop, 2pm to 4pm. All materials, guidance, tools, refreshments and nibbles provided. Book at www.allevents.in. And that was this week's District News on the 30th of October.
Need to get back to clean sheets. This article was written by Brian Yule and it's being read by me, Corey. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy boss John Gibson says his side has to get back to keeping clean sheets. Rob Roy has conceded goals in the last 5 matches, all in competitions, having only let the opposition score in 3 of their previous 7 to start the season. The most recent outing in the WOS First Division saw Thornywood United score twice in a 2-2 draw. There may have been questionable decisions around their goals, but Gibson still admitted the defeat was poor. He said, "The first one was definitely offside. I don't know how it has been given, but these things happen. However, it was poor defending. We got ourselves back into it and then more poor defending for the second one as well. I thought overall our defending wasn't great. Lines weren't good, and that's something we need to work on to try and get it better. We went from a team that wasn't looking like conceding to a team that is conceding goals. We've got a few injuries. Scott Gibson is injured and Scott Walker was on holiday. So 2 out of the usual back 4 weren't there. But listen, we will work on it and make sure the people who come to do a job properly and try to get back to keeping clean sheets." Rob Roy returned to action this Saturday as they host 3rd Division side Threave Rovers in the second round of the West of Scotland Cup. Threave have already beaten Lowland League side Berwick Rangers and Premier Division outfits Ben Burb and Glen Afton Athletic in cup ties this season. As such, Gibson is expecting a difficult game against lower league opposition, but has brought in a reinforcement. He said it'll be a hard one against Threave, as they're going really well at the moment. We could have a few more goals, so I've brought Sean Kennedy from Gartcairn, and I'm sure he'll do a job for us. That article was written by Brian Yule, and it was read by me, Corey. Scott leaves City to join Aberdeen. This article was written by Brian Yule, and it's being read by me, Corey. Scott Booth has departed from Glasgow City to become the new head coach at Aberdeen Women. Booth rejoined the club in the summer, taking on the role of assistant head coach with Leanne Ross coaching the team. He helped the side reach the top of the SWPL1 table prior to the international break. Booth was a top striker in his day with the likes of Aberdeen, Borussia Dortmund, Twente and Scotland. But as the women's game, he has enjoyed most success as a coach. He took over as head coach at City in 2015 and won 6 consecutive SWPL titles, along with 2 Scottish Cups. He returned to Scotland following spells with Birmingham City and Lewes in England. With Booth's desire to move to his hometown club, both sides came to a mutual agreement to release him earlier from his current contract. Booth said, "There's been interest from Aberdeen for a while. They are my hometown club and one I have had a long association with. The decision to accept this opportunity has been difficult, particularly given how amazing Laura, Leanne and all the players and staff have been in welcoming me back to a club and place that mean a lot to me. Weighing up personal circumstances and the opportunity that the Aberdeen project provides professionally, it felt like this was the right decision to make at the time. I've hugely enjoyed reacquainting myself with old faces and getting to know new ones, and working with Leanne in slightly reversed roles has been brilliant, and I wish them all continued success for the season 2 ahead." City Chief Executive Laura Montgomery added, "Everyone at Glasgow City wishes Scott nothing but the best for him and his family, and he will always be welcome at Petershill Park. Work has already begun to find a suitable candidate to join Leanne and her coaching team. City returned to action on Sunday as they look to solidify their place at the top of the table when they host Partick Thistle. Rossvale women will be looking for their first win since August as they travel to Bournemouth Thistle in SWPL 2. That article was written by Brian Yule and it was read by me, Corey. Shoneyville backed to turn season around at Ashfield. This article is unattributed, but it's being read by me, Corey. Ashfield is still looking for a first WOS First Division win this season after losing 4-3 to Rutherglen Glencairn. However, manager Neil Shoneyville has been backed to turn it around by 2 of his peers. Shoneyville took over in the summer after Michael Oliver went to Darvel, but faced a major rebuilding job. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy boss John Gibson said, "Like myself, Neil didn't go into the job until late, and by that time, a lot of players have already signed up elsewhere. It was bad enough for me, but I was coming into a side on a more solid footing, whereas Ashfield had lost a lot of bodies. I know the guys there and they won't rush into anything. They'll give Neil plenty of time to turn it around, and I'm quite sure he will." Kilsyth Rangers boss Kevin Walsh told the 80 podcast, "Neil took on a big job. Having to go in and rebuild is never easy. They're not far away. Some of the games have only been by the old goal. So it's fine margins and hopefully his result will pick up." Results: First Division, Petershill 2, Kilbirnie Ladeside 2, Ashfield 3, Rutherglen Glencairn 4. Second Division, Craigmark Burtonians 2, Caledonian Locomotives 1. Third Division, Glasgow Perthshire 2, Glenvale 2. Fourth Division, Saltcoats Victoria 1, West Park United 2. Rossvale 0, Knightswood 4. Saturday fixtures: First Division, Petershill versus Vale of Clyde. WOS Cup, second round, Beath versus Glasgow Perthshire, Kirkintilloch Rob Roy versus Thrieve Rovers, West Park United versus St Peters, Cumnock versus Ashfield. That article was unattributed, but it was read by me, Corey.
That concludes this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast. Please remember to subscribe to our channels at Tune Review and to tell your friends about our service.